gonna be covering my trade recap real quick. I keep on having to restart because I'm going over 10 minutes and I don't want to upload Google files. I just want to upload the freaking video and the freaking Discord is annoying. Anyways, we have why am I bullish Monday? Because we have an SMT from the previous day. So Friday created this SMT within EQ of this range or this opposing candle, and that can give us insight of us, reversing, and then we have a daily model, like internal to external, essentially, right? Now with this close on Monday, we created two-stage SMT. So this is something I have not shown you guys, but this is another form of two-stage SMT. So like I said, I haven't showed you guys everything. There's multiple forms of two-stage SMT. Here's one of them, right? It's just a cracking correlation via swing points, right? Now there's some swing points they're better. Daily is one of them, right? It's very significant when you have previously high SMT. When you have double like this, it's a form of strength switching, right? Because this asset swept, now it's putting a lower low. Like we talked about, we went over all these different types of two-stage SMTs. Notice how there's always a form of strength switching, right? This is why it's important to have a strength switching, because this is how markets reverse, right? So this is what we have over here. Now, now we have a very nice close on Monday. So if Monday reverses, technically it reverses because it manipulates. So it creates an SMT where YM does like it manipulates. So technically Monday reversal, Tuesday continuation. With this really nice closure, we have a T-Trade's ideal swing formation, so we can trade this candle higher, mark out EQ of this candle's range. Whoops. We want to see this respected, right? Within here. This is where we drop down to the 1 hour or 4 hour to see a key level. I don't really see much in here on the 4 hour. There's really not much over here on the 1 hour. So what does that mean? The low of the day must be formed from some sort of relevant level that's created intraday. So this is in the form of highs and lows, like session highs and lows. So here you have London lows that we sweep out, creating a low of the day in the upper half of the previous candle's range, right? If you just phase the price logic, right? We have this SMT, expansion mouth expansion, right? And then retracements. So the candle's opening low, the retracement is the candle's open low, right? We put in a London reversal, and then we expand, right? We have those expansion signatures. We hit a relevant high here. This is where we have that SMT. So price goes from SMT to SMT, right? And then we print this as well. If I go to the 4 hour here, here's your open low. This right here, this 10M candle is what actually creates this daily SMT, okay? And then, you have this really nice close here on the 4 hour as well. So you're just trading candle 4, where candle 4's low is printed from that SMT. Now over here, same thing. We open low. You have a London reversal. Same thing over here. Monday, open low, London reversal. So very nice profiling. Now, if you've seen my video on validations, if the London or Asia is a low of day, we look for an hourly or 30-minute CST. Here's you have an hourly CST, but also you have a 30-minute CST. And in the expansion away from the low of day, this is where you create invalidation points. So, for example, over here, if this is going to be the low of day, right, this has to hold, right? And when price is respecting order flow or expanding from low of day, this is how you know this is a true low of day, because you expand away from the low of day, and drivers should expand away from the low of day. So here's 930, it immediately rips this high. That's why you saw me take a positional entry. It's because I'm trading around these opposing candles. This is my entry around here, because I'm next to these invalidation points around the open. And in my driver video, I talk about that. If you're entering, or if you have price really opening near an invalidation point like this, it's very ideal that the market just expands away from it, right? This is where, if we already retrace, for example, prior to a driver, and then we're just expanding away from that, we really haven't expanded into anything relevant. It should just expand, right? So this is what we're seeing. We're opening up the driver within a candle 4, which is an ideal swing formation. T-Trade's ideal swing formation, just like on the daily chart. But I don't trade it on NQ, just because look how close we are to this high, right? So this is my trade basically. Now I'm only using the 5-minute here because it's cleaner. So I'm trading candle 3. Now within candle 3, you do not have a CSD. Here's the open of candle 3. So it creates it, right? So I can just enter on the first CSD like this. But the RR is not good. It's like 1, right? So when markets are correlated like this, they're all expanding in the same direction. This is typically when all the assets will get to this high, okay? So it doesn't really matter. As long as your stop loss is in a protected level, that's you're good usually. Um, and now like why wouldn't I enter this prior to the driver? It's too small of a range in my opinion to be safe to say like this is gonna hold. Now it does hold, but it comes very close. Like you're gonna see it actually does hold. See, it doesn't take it out. It hits this high, and then it comes back. So you could have taken that win, but it's just too small for me to trust that. But I traded, like I said, ES. So let me draw out this high. Boom. It was very choppy, but I'll show you why it was choppy. And like over here, it was about 1.8 R to the high, but I didn't target there. But you're gonna see what I targeted in a minute. We're gonna see a form of strength switching right now. So I know a lot of you guys caught this. You guys saw this SMT, this two-stage SMT, right? Which is creating, it's within the swing point, right? Which is cool there. But this when I saw this, guys, like look, when price expanded this high, traded back in this range, and then what are we doing here? We're closing back above these opposing candles. This is a continuous signature. So when I saw ES come back like this, you see it's coming back to my entry like this, you can't get scared because this is forming just an SMT like this. You know, and we've already failed to manipulate this high, right? We've already got that continuous signature, so I'm not really scared about holding this trade. And if you go to YM as well, we also took out this high, which is the previous high. And this is a form of strength switching because, you know, at 933 we took out this high on YM, but 933, which is like right here, we did not take out the high on ES. But now we're creating a higher high here. See that? So it's a form of strength switching. So you see YM takes out these lows, right, when it was creating a higher high, right? So I know some of you guys took this. This is a really good trade, by the way, if you took this. Because this is strength switching. It's a candle too. So you see how it's a reversal into expansion because there's an SMT here at this low, and it's from a gap. So it's a very good trade. But yeah, I was really confident of still holding this. It's not nothing crazy because this is at the height of expansion. We know the other assets hit this high, so it makes sense we can get a new phase of price, which is really just like a form of consolidation or some reaccumulation, right? Where InQ fails to take out the or fails to give a reversal signature. YM is just reaccumulation, right? Strength switch, and I'm trading kind of like the middle guy here. And yeah, I targeted this, by the way. So like I said, this is my stop loss. And my stop loss, notice how it's literally around that 30-minute invalidation point. It's around this low. That's what I want it to be on if I'm going to be taking a positional entry like this prior to a driver. Just like yesterday. Now, if I mark out this standard deviation here, I just took it to -2 because this is a relevant high in the market. There's really nothing, when I like to target highs and lows, you know what I'm saying? Like relevant highs and lows, because this is where you're usually going to get a new phase of price, but there's nothing beyond this high in close proximity. I know price is not going to get up here in the same day. It's not likely to do it. It's just like yesterday where I'm really just going to TP here because there's nothing beyond it. You know what I'm saying? So this is where I want to be involved before we hit it. You know, I want to be involved before we hit it, but also I want to TP around that area. Maybe a little bit past it. This is what I did, around 2.6 R, because the higher time frame is extremely one-sided. So you could hold, this is where you could use projections and hold a little bit past your targets, right, like this. Because in expansion, for example, we should be, you know, displacing through highs like this, even if it's a relevant high. This is what you want to see, right? We should be rejecting lows, right? Displacing through highs. So this logic where we're displacing to the high, you could hold, you know, potentially to here, but I just took it to here, right? Around, it was about 2.6 R. So that was my trade, guys. Hopefully that made sense, and hopefully I covered that in a good way. But yeah.